Hello everyone, Damien here again, and I've got another Model 3 race comparison for you. This one is a little odd. It's not one that I would have chosen or would have even thought about. However, the owner of the Audi TT-RS that I raced a couple videos back, he sold his TT-RS, bought a Model 3 Performance, but in addition to that, he bought a BMW X3 M Competition. Now, it sounds like kind of a silly race, an X3 SUV versus a Model 3 Performance, but I did some research and I started looking at some of the times that they were running, some YouTube videos, and it's actually a really good comparison. It's just, I never would have thought of it. So let's take a look. It'll surprise you. I think it'll surprise you. I know it really surprised me. So let's take a look around the BMW, go over some stats real quick, and we'll take a look at some runs. All right, let's take a walk around the 2020 BMW X3 M Competition. We have a twin-turbo 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine, pumping out 503 horsepower and 442 foot-pound of torque. That power is routed through an 8-speed M Sport automatic transmission. That power then goes to the all-wheel drive system. She does weigh in at a hefty 4,620 pounds. However, performance is impressive. 0 to 60 is dispatched in 4 seconds flat with a top speed of 155 miles an hour, which is electronically limited. With that limiter removed, it is rated at 177 miles an hour. Quite impressive for a small SUV. Alright, let's take a look at some runs. Three, two, one, go. 3, 2, 1, 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 go. Wow, so those races were actually a lot closer than I would have suspected, especially at the launch. Now, it was also surprising not only how well the X3 launched, but how hard it pulled on the top end. I figured the Model 3 was going to get pulled on the top end just because, you know, Tesla's kind of known to fall off, especially after about 80 or 90 miles an hour, for the Model 3 at least. And so that was surprising, just how hard that X3 was able to pull. And just to throw out some numbers, so when, you know, anyone asks, the X3 in this video that day ran a best of almost 12 flat, I think 1202 at 116 miles an hour with a best 0 to 60, I want to say without rollout, best 0 to 60 of 4 flat. So that was in the 0 to 60 of 3.7 range with rollout. So that's actually quite impressive for a heavy SUV. It does obviously, that all-wheel drive system is working well. It launches great. However, not everything is peaches and cream for the X3. We realized, well, the driver of the X3, the owner, realized that the launch control is a little difficult, can be a little finicky and difficult to use. If you hold the launch control, if you don't hold it long enough, the vehicle will bog off the line and you don't get quite as good of a launch. I think you can see that in race number 1. You can see how the Tesla jumps out, and then the X3 starts pulling the Model 3 back in. And then on the flip side, if you hold the launch control too long, the motor starts to build enough boost that the power overpowers, the engine overpowers the brakes, specifically because it's an 8-speed automatic transmission with a torque converter. It's just a normal torque converter automatic. So as that power builds, it starts to overpower the front brakes and the car starts to creep forward, which definitely throws off if you're trying to actually run somebody. Whether you're at a stoplight, out and about like we did, or, you know, at the drag strip or something, that definitely can throw the launch off if you're trying to launch at the exact same time. But if you're just trying to set a time, you know, you go to the drag strip, wait till the lights drop, it's green, and you just do your thing, and you're just trying to set the fastest time against the clock, then yeah, it works great. But competitively, where you're usually going to use it, it's very finicky and much more difficult to use and much less accessible than the Model 3, you know, in the real world. And the owner of the X3, like I said, also has a Model 3 Performance, and he agreed that the Model 3 obviously is much easier to use in the real world if you're trying to launch at a light or something. And then you also don't look like an idiot, you know, trying to hold launch control at a light, and people are looking at you like, what the hell is this guy doing? You know, is he crazy? And it's just easier to do real world. So with that said, both cars, I keep calling them cars, whatever, both cars ran great. And it just, it depends on what you're looking for. One last note, the owner did say he was also a little surprised at just how close it was, because when he drives his Model 3 Performance, it feels much quicker. It really gives you that, you know, punch in the back of the head and that feeling of acceleration, whereas the X3, even though it's damn near as quick, you just don't feel it. And why that is, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the internal combustion engine and those twin turbos. It just comes on a little slower and it doesn't really just hit you. That'd be my guess. Either way, we had fun, and those were some damn close races. It wasn't until after probably till after about 115 miles an hour is when the X3 started to pass the Model 3. The Model 3 in this video got up to about 121, 122 miles an hour at the very long end, past the quarter obviously. And the X3, I think he got up to around, I want to say 134 to 137, somewhere in that range. So you can see just how hard that twin turbo inline six can pull on the high end, even with something like a heavy, not the most aerodynamic SUV. So interesting to say the least. So watch out for those X3 M competitions out there, Model 3 drivers. All right, guys. If anyone is in the greater Salt Lake area and would like to run the Model 3 Performance and just for fun, just to see how you do, hit me up at the email in the description of this video and I will get back to you and we'll set something up. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching and you'll see me next time.